Yes, it's time for our halftime show, and tonight we have the Smothers Brothers Marching Band doing a tribute to the old and the new. And now the band will first form a steamship, symbolizing the new era of transportation. As a tribute to our space program, the band will now form a space capsule approaching the surface of the moon. Now, in special salute, a pictorial depiction of the sinking of the Titanic. The card section, in conjunction with the Smothers Brothers Marching Band, will now complete our halftime festivities with the Smothers Brothers signature stunt and band spellout done to the famous Smothers theme.
For the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour Storybook. With guest stars Liberace as the Wandering Minstrel, Tom and Dick Smothers as the King's right hand, and David Fry as a cast of thousands. We'll be right back with a fable for our time.
I'll sing you a tale of a mythical king who once ruled over this town. This powerful sire, he had to retire and give up his throne and his crown. And give up his throne and his crown. My fellow citizens, I come here tonight because I no longer have any place to go. Tomorrow I will be just another private citizen, no different from any other private citizen who is an ex-king. Thus, it is with a heavy heart that I deliver my farewell address. There are many things I'm sad to leave behind. My rings, my robes, my 10-gallon crown, and most of all, my gallbladder. I've tried to be an honest king. I never wanted to send the boys on the crusades. Please, believe me when I tell you this. I've never lied to you, have I? I kidded you a little bit, but I never lied to you. I only regret that I have left no prince to carry on after me. It is true, I do have 2 semi-beautiful daughters. But no son. Therefore, I've selected two boys whom I've often thought of as real sons of mine. Sir Richard of the Golden Throat. Me. And my loyal jester, Tom Fu. Boys, it was people like you two, loyal, concerned, over-impetuous, half-baked, misinformed, bleeding heart troublemakers who helped convince me that I should retire. So it is only fitting that I place the task of finding a new king in your hands.
Well, sir, I'd just like to say that I'm
Not
very
yet,
honored to...
rubber mouth. Remember, it is written and ordained that whomsoever shall pulleth the golden sword from out its granite prison, then he shall be the rightful ruler. And it is written that he shall then reign in peace and harmony evermore, provided that people like you will stay off his back. So go ye forth and seek out he who shall rule in my place. Goodbye, good luck, and peace, brother. Peace.
And so, Sir Dick and Tom Fool went out into the world looking for a man who could be king. They searched high, they searched low, and sometimes they searched when they were feeling normal. But still no champion came forth to claim the crown.
Gadzooks. Yeah. I can't go on. I've had it. I've looked all over, and there's nobody that can qualify. Nobody that can qualify to be...
But Tom Fu, we can't give up. We've got to find a new leader. The whole kingdom is counting on us.
Nay, Brother Golden Voice. I have not the will to continue, nor because there's no man who has had the strength or desire...
But how about Eugene of McCarthy? Sir Eugene of McCarthy.
Yeah, how about him? Well, he sent a message saying he could not bring his peaceful hands to touch such a warlike weapon as this golden sword. But at least he promised to withhold his support from whomever did pull it out from the rock.
Well, that's something anyway.
Oh, he's wonderful about that.
Well, how about Lord Nelson of Rockefeller?
Oh, yes. He offered to buy the sword. If someone else would first pull it from that ugly rock. Oh, 'tis a thankless and heartless job that we have. Let's return to the king and tell him we can't find a successor. I can't figure out
Perhaps thou art right, Tom Fool.
Yeah.
We will return and inform the old king that he must continue in office.
Wait, what'd you say?
I said he must continue in office.
Maybe we can keep looking. Maybe there's somewhere where we can find it.
I've got it. As long as we're this desperate, I think I have a man who would want the job. The White Knight, Sir George of Wallace.
What are you two pointer-headed pseudo-intellectuals pussyfooting around for? I don't pussyfoot on what I say. I don't pussyfoot on what I do. I don't pussyfoot on anything. I call a spade a spade.
Methinks he sounds like a bigot.
I heard that, you long-haired, pico, northern, agitated, grass-sniffing freak. A lot of you people have called me a bigot. Now, I ask you this. Is this the face of a bigot? Now, quit your pussyfooting and tell me what you want me to do.
Well, whomsoever shall plucketh the golden sword from this solid rock shall be crowned as king. So spaketh the king. So could you just plant your pussyfoot on that rock and segregate golden sword from young dark stone?
Tom Fool, methinkest he not the type.
I'll be the judge of that, boy.
Time's up.
Thou hast failed to pluck the sword from Rocky's scabbard.
Well, I could have pulled it out if I really wanted to, but I'll never be the man to advocate complete withdrawal. To pull out when the going gets tough is un-American.
The next one to try to pull out the sword was elegant, witty, and droll. If manners were strength, he could win by a length and never be short of his goal. And never be short of his goal.
Sir George of the Golden Throat.
Hey.
I mean, Sir Richard of the Golden Throat.
Thank you,
I
Frank.
think we have strayed into a folly and come up with a bummer.
Well, don't lose hope, Tom Fool. I think we have yet another prospect for us. He comes now.
Oh, what ho there, roly-poly varlet? How art thou?
Well, let me say this. Some people call me HHH. I'd like to go on record to say that HHH does not stand for ho, ho, ho. It stands for ha, ha, ha.
You sound happy to be here.
I'm happy to be anywhere. I'm proud as punch to be running for king. Under the old king, I ran for other things. Coffee, cigarettes, sandwiches, toothpicks, anything the old man could think of, and he thought of everything. The old king told me himself that I had a very good chance of succeeding him to the throne. And he's never lied to me. He's kidded me a little bit, but he's never lied to me.
Oh, we do. All you have to do, Sir H., is to plucketh the golden sword from the solid rock, and ye shall be crowned as king.
That's right.
All right, stand back. Watch, my fellow citizens, as with one joyful pull, you'll finally have your king.
Time's up.
I'm afraid you just weren't strong enough, Sir H.
So I lost. So what? What does it mean? Just everything.
Well, we've tried everyone, so let's just go back and tell the king we failed.
Well, what's going to happen to our kingdom?
Huh. Without a new king, there's going to be chaos and disorder and rioting and looting and strikes and burning, and nobody will know what to do.
Yeah, the same old stuff we got now.
And so goes the tale of the man who did fail to find a man to be king. The country is doomed, the kingdom is ruined. There's no happy ending to sing. There's no happy ending to sing.
You know, I just can't get over it. Sir Eugene, Lord Nelson, Sir George, and even Sir Humphrey.
Yes, all a pack of losers.
All lose.
Losers.
Did someone say the magic word?
It's Sir Richard! Sir Richard of Nixon!
You bet it is. I don't know, frankly, if I should stay on the sidelines and watch the kingdom go down the drain, or to go right in there and blow the whole thing myself. Boys, maybe I can be of service to you.
Yes, say, are you a sword plucker?
Hold it. Just wait 1 minute. I've been called many things. I've been called a loser. I've been called a bad sport. I've been called an opportunist. I've even been called Tricky Dicky. Just don't try calling me a sword plucker.
Sir Richard, do you think you could pull the sword, this sword, from the rock, from the stone?
I'm glad you asked me that question. Yes, you're right. Can I pull the sword from the stone? I'll tell you what I think about pulling the sword from the stone. And I want to be very clear about this in this presentation. I feel the same way, and I always have, about pulling the sword out of the stone, as I have in the past, and believe me when I tell you this, as I have about putting the sword into the stone. And you all know by this time what I think about putting the sword into the stone and about taking it out. I hope I made myself clear.
I don't know what he says. It doesn't make much sense. But I think maybe he's right.
Yeah, but you remember what the old king, he said, whomsoever shall pluck at the golden sword from the solid rock scabbard shall forevermore reign as king.
All
as we
right,
wander
just
into
forget
the
it.
fine-
Let's be sensible. There's nobody left, to pull the sword from the stone, so it's him or nobody.
You don't.
Yes! Either we crown him as king and forget about taking the sword from the stone, or we go back to the old king and say he must serve for 4 more years. What do you say?
All hail the new king!
Yippee, yippee, I'm king! Yippee, yippee! Sock it to me?
Ladies and gentlemen, you've been a wonderful audience, and we've really enjoyed doing the show for tonight. And we'd like to bring on our guests and for a nice warm hand and thank them very much. Mr. David Fry. Let's have a big hand for David.
And Mr. Liberace.
Not Mr.
Liberace! And Hedgendana.
Next week, we'd like to say next week we have, once again, the Clingers. We have Joe South and the one and only Mr. Victor Borga. So good night. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good night.
Now is the time to safeguard your heart. In all hearts, by supporting your heart association's crusade against our nation's #1 killer. Give to your heart fund. Give so more will live.
Audio was mixed by Neil Weinstein. Also appearing in tonight's show was Bob Einstein. This is Roger Carroll. Now, I like that show. I genuinely like that show. And that the fable for our times, what impressed me seeing this again was Nelson Riddle's arrangement. It was totally scored. David Fry was brilliant playing Hubert Humphrey, George Wallace.
I loved him in the windows, Lyndon Johnson, too.
Lyndon Johnson, Richard Nixon. And the huge set and all the dancers and the music, and Liberace's wonderful. He just was a charming, charming performer. And David Fry looked so young and so fresh. And there's a lot of impressionists around now, but David Fry at that time was the best.
Yeah. Well, Pat Paulson was always, presence always there, too.
I thought that's subtle. The last little thing. Pat Paulson.
He's so underplayed.
Underplayed it, pushes out, picks his sword up, puts it and wanders off. This was a neat thing about the show, that the writers were finally acknowledged for their good writing.
Yeah, of all the shows we did, this was a real gratifying thing for the writers, because I think they were the hardest working group in creative and youngest.
And they finally got it right on this show.
Yes, they finally got it right.
And they were finally given an award, an Emmy for the best writing on a variety, comedy, or musical special.
That's it.
And they were very happy. And they all got these little wonderful things. And this was a show, I think, that was worthy of an Emmy.
The particular show, that one particular episode that won the Emmy, was a very special show. And it was written during a tremendous rainstorm that we had here. And it was written literally overnight, because we had some problems. We often had problems where we were writing at the last minute, and I had to get the staff in. I couldn't get anybody in. And I phoned Bob Einstein, and Steve Martin lived in the same house, like an apartment, like a building, a house, a triplex or something, a duplex. And I called them and said, I need you guys to come in. I mean, we've got to write this show.
And that was a lot of fun, because Liberace hadn't been played with on television before. You know, he had this image, and we really tore it up, and he was great with it. Very funny and very agreeable, and it was really a great show.
The big comedy variety shows of the era were Laugh-In and the Smothers Brothers, and Laugh-In had won Best Comedy Variety Musical Emmy 2 years in a row. And they started to announce the show at the Santa Monica Civic, and as they opened the envelope, the Laugh-In guys were starting to get up. They were half on their feet when they announced Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour. And we got to kind of jump up and sprint down the aisle past them and mill around on stage. I think there was a huge number of us. And we had gotten a telegram from the Emmy, from Television Academy, saying, pick one person to give your thanks, you know, because you can't burden the audience with lengthy thank yous. So I think Alan Bly said thanks. The rest of us nodded and smiled and waved, got into limousines.
1968-1969 Television Academy Awards, Outstanding Writing Achievement in Comedy, Variety, or Music. Alan Bly, Bob Einstein, Carl Gottlieb, Cy Howard, Steve Martin, Jerry Music, Murray Roman, Cecil Tuck, Paul Wayne, and Mason Williams. The Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour, February 16th, 1969, CBS. And believe me, even though I was reluctant to show this, boy, am I proud of this.
We hope this comedy hour brought back some pleasant memories, and if you weren't around back then, maybe you learned a little bit about what the world and TV were like in 1969.
We'll see you next time with another Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour.